Hey, good morning, everybody. It is, what day is today? Today is March 1st. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the stream, and welcome Jaws back. Thank you for following, and good morning, Steve. It's great to see you down there. Thank you for joining me here on the stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. I like to spend some time here in the morning writing some code, chatting with you, viewers hanging out there, and talking about some of the cool things that are going on in tech. Good morning, Helder Philippe Sousa. Oh my gosh. Can I shorten that to just Philippe? Good morning. Great to see folks out there in the Twitch chat room already. Today I've gone all Overwatch. I am Overwatch crazy today. I've got my Overwatch hat. I got my Overwatch t-shirt. My team, my local team, they're not really local because they're not playing here yet, but the Philadelphia Fusion went 2-0 last week, demolishing Boston and Florida. Now, anytime a Philadelphia team beats up on Boston, that's a pretty good thing. But we went 4-0 on both matches. 8-0, didn't lose a single map. Esports, I'm really into, and I think this is kind of a really neat thing to see out there. Oh, thanks for the follow, DevLead. So today, of course, I've got some music playing in the background again for us. Let me know how the music level is out there. I see it's a little bit low on my gauges, but let me know how it sounds out there on Mixer and Twitch. This is Red from Carl Franklin's first collection of music to code by. I really enjoy it. Helps keep us focused, and I've got links to his music if you want to download, get your own copies of it, download his app Music to Flow By, and check that out. Carl has graciously allowed us, given us permission to use his music as part of these streams, and I very much appreciate that, Carl. I want to give a big thank you to him and encourage folks to check out his music if you're interested in using a little bit more of this on your own. I have closed captioning turned on, and I talked to some of my friends over at Channel 9 this week, because we think it's kind of funny, some of the translations that it delivers. For the record, I'm using the closed captioning that is part of OBS, the Open Broadcaster software, and this uses the Microsoft speech-to-text that's embedded in Windows 10. So it's trying to do this very, very quickly using the models that are embedded here on my laptop. There's no machine learning involved. It's literally based off of the training that I've given it. And it's not the best. The machine learning really adds something to it when you look at other services that have that capability. So we're taking a look to see if we can do something to enhance the closed caption facilities that are available inside OBS, so we can get better closed captioning that's a little bit more accurate to what it is that I'm actually saying. There are other services out there that use Bing speech-to-text or Google speech-to-text that will actually embed, and you'll see the words burned into the video right here. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that you can still see when our friend Steve pops up there and welcomes some of our new friends to the stream. So good morning, Isaac and Organic IT, and Meat Popsicle, of course, is out there. Hello. Today I want to spend some time taking a look at some of the pull requests that some of you folks have submitted to help refactor some of the JavaScript that we started working on in our Stream Tools project. I'm not strong with JavaScript. I know my way around it. I can manage it a bit, but I want to take a look at some of the suggestions that you folks have for us. See what we can do to simplify some of those things. I'm really inspired to do a little bit more refactoring and code simplification after our talk that we had with Steve Smith on Tuesday. So I want to go through and take a look at some of those things and really see what we can do to simplify and consolidate some of that JavaScript. So I've got some pull requests there I want to take a look at. I've also got, man, the Twitch notification is 7 minutes late. Is that the notification on your mobile device? Standby reloading? Let me know. Let's see what else. I have... Oh! So no guest today. Saturday, I am off. I have a... Oh, the email. Okay. Yeah, the Twitch email is hit or miss, I've found. It's either immediate or it takes a really long time to get there. Saturday I'm off. My kids have an event that I'm helping out as a father. I go and I do the in-ring announcements. So I'll be there Saturday, so there will not be a stream this weekend. But I will be back on Tuesday. And Tuesday I'll be broadcasting from the Channel 9 studios, live from Microsoft campus. And I've actually got folks asking, a number of folks asking to join me. I'll announce it here. The first guest that I'm going to have on joining me is Brady Gaster. So Brady Gaster is a longtime friend. He's going to come on and he's going to help us with optimizing some of our SignalR code that we've written. Brady's done a great job of working with SignalR in the past, and he's going to show us some tips and tricks of how to optimize some of the code that we've written. And then my other friend, Maxime, I'm going to mispronounce his name because I don't speak French very well. Maxime Roulier is going to be joining us, and he's got some things he wants to show and talk about here on stream. But that is during MVP Summit. And Thursday next week is when we have at MVP Summit our hackathon. And this is an opportunity for some of the attendees to write some code side by side with our program team members. Well, I'm actually going to grab some space off on the side of the room. And all the code that we write typically during that session is open source. So I'm going to grab some folks and bring them over. I may be starting a little bit later in the day than normal, just because I want to get folks in the middle of it. And I may be coming and going throughout the day, so it may be hit and miss to see exactly what we're going to be able to show and kind of coordinate and get timing down. We'll see how that goes. Ward says, I wonder if I'll do some jQuery. Maybe? And I'm trying to avoid jQuery, but we'll see how that fits in. I'll be in Building 33, not that far away. Versus Sweden now. Well, I'll be in Building 33 all week next week. So Building 33 on Microsoft campus is our executive briefing center. It's where we hold some of our conferences. So that's where I'll be as part of the event next week. All right. Enough about some of this housekeeping. I want to get into the code here. Let's start taking a look at this stuff. I'm going to actually bring up my GitHub first, and then we can take a look. There we go. A couple things I should call out here. We've got a new follower goal. So we crossed our follower goal going into Tuesday's show. So I am in the middle of planning and preparing the AskMe.net stream that we're going to do, where it's going to be a call-in show. Bring your questions, bring your problems that you need help solving. I'm going to get one or two experts to help me and to sit in as part of it, and we'll answer your questions. We'll try to solve the problems that you may have with your .NET projects here live on stream together. Let's see. I see Ace Flameseer comments out there. I love your streams. Hope to see more unit tests and integration test streams. It's a good idea. You explain everything well. It's been really good for a junior developer to be like me to see how professional work environment looks like. Well, thank you, Ace Flames here. I really appreciate those comments. That means a lot to me. And I think you can also see how some of the bad practices sneak in, right? When we were working with Steve on Tuesday, right, Steve kept coming back to, we've got to manually test this by pressing F5 and looking and seeing how it works. And we could be developing and writing our code much faster if I did have unit tests. And every time he said that, it felt like a smack in the face, like, crap, I should have had unit tests. Rats, I didn't have. I should have written some of that. So, absolutely, we're going to do more on that. Isaac makes a good point. I had a stream with Brendan Enrick. Brendan, we were on about 2 weeks ago. You can find that on my YouTube archive. It's also here on Twitch and Mixer in the archives, but those archives on Twitch and Mixer roll off, so you'll always find it on YouTube. And we went through and we talked about some unit testing best practices, and I hope to get back to doing some more of those. Helper Philippe says, can I bring stupid problems with cookies on partial views and view components? Well, you know what? Philippe, if you have a gist, or if you have a GitHub project out there that you can point me to, we can certainly start taking a look at that sooner than later. So absolutely, make sure you see if you can isolate that code, put it out there somewhere so that we can take a look and we can work through it together. I'd be happy to review that with you. Let's see here. Can I bring... Okay. It's fun to be a senior dev and participate in the conversations that help juniors, and where Jeff is needed. Steve's golden. Videos are gold. Thank you. Thank you very much, folks. I really appreciate those comments in the chat room. I do want to make sure that you folks know that there are some senior folks at Microsoft who are keeping an eye on how this evolves. I think this is a very interesting way for us to engage and answer some of your questions and help you out. The stream community's been awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Tag helper Scott. There are no stupid problems. Okay, so that AskMe.net, I'm planning and working on that. We'll probably do that in the middle of March. We'll see how that goes. But next week is going to be my first pair programming stream live together, and I'm going to use that to kind of test some things before a pair programming stream at the end of the month at the Dev Intersection Conference in Orlando. If you have tickets to that event, I encourage you to come out, say hello. I want to make sure that I see some of you folks there. But our new goal, I've upped it, and I doubled the previous goal. I went from 500 to 1,000, and you know what? We got there too fast. So I'm pushing it out to 2,500 is going to be the next goal. And now I want to host an architecture workshop. I heard a number of viewers, and folks on Twitter say, hey, let's do architecture. Let's dig a little bit further into some of these things, stuff that isn't specific to .NET, and talk about better ways to architect our software. And in talking about that with some folks, I've actually got one or two folks that are already interested in pair programming and being part of that workshop. So stay tuned. Tell your friends, encourage folks to come join us. And, if we hit that 2,500 goal, I made good on that ASP.NET Core workshop. I will absolutely make good on this architecture workshop in the months ahead. Hopefully we don't get to it so fast. Well, it would be nice to get to it fast, but hopefully this takes a little bit longer to get to. Let's see, what do we have here? Blue Collar Scott. Yes, that's Blue Collar Scott Addy. There are CSS problems, for instance. If there's something lacking in the ASP.NET Core doc. Okay, cool. So let's... I want to just take a quick peek through here at the Livestream repository. I did receive a question. It was actually over in the Stream Tools repository. I brought it back over here from Open Window on GitHub, asking about explaining bundling and minification concepts and how to configure them during the live stream. I think this is a really good question, and I want to answer and show a little bit of this here today on the stream, particularly as we look at some of the JavaScript work that we're going to refactor and bring in from from some of the pull requests that are out there on the Stream Tools project. Now, the Stream Tools project, in case you haven't seen it, this is the project. This is an ASP.NET Core web application. I run it inside of a Docker container that hosts Linux, and it generates some of these widgets that you see here on screen, particularly the follower goal bar up here, the followers count here, and even in the corner just above the chat room, it's over in that corner, the viewers count. So those three things are actually being generated by web pages that this project generates, and it helps you configure, and it builds nice cool gradients, and you can configure it any which way you'd like. It's really, really neat. I'm actually kind of proud of the work that we as a group have done to put this together. I think it's a great sample of something that's simple in how it uses .NET and takes advantage of some of the neat front-end things you can do with HTML5 and CSS. I don't know if you saw the comment at the end of your last stream, but you were talking about using nameof in your JavaScript, but that will prevent you from moving the JS into a script file and do bundling on it. Maybe. I think you're about 90% right there. Standby reloading. Let's take a look at that because I know that's going to break some things and might be a little bit tricky, but let's take a look at that. Stap123, good morning. Hello. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. And I'm noticing that the closed captioning changed Docker to Doctor. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Thanks so much. I've gone through the training here on the voice-to-speech training here on Windows a couple times, and it just isn't catching up. Let's see here. I've got some folks retweeting us out there that we started. Fantastic. All right. I want to make sure. Dr. Hub. There you go. I'm going to get out to the Dr. Hub. That's, I believe Meat Popsicle Dr. Hubs are called hospitals. Because that's where they all hang out. All right. More coffee. Must have coffee. So let's take a look. I've got 4 pull requests hanging out here, and I think I'm gonna run right into what standby reloading was talking about, because our friend Mr. Magoo, thank you, Mr. Magoo, and I love the handles from some of you folks out there. It makes me laugh every time I have to say some of these. Use model names here. This kind of breaks when we try to use some of the model names with our JavaScript code. Follow me here for a second. I'm going to scroll down. I don't know why. There it goes. In .NET, as of, what was it, C#6, there's a function you can use called nameof, and you can see it being used right here. This is line 18 as it's been modified. Oh, thank you. Is it Benefice? Thank you for checking out my videos on YouTube. Welcome here. Do me a favor, click a follow and help us reach our next group of goals here. It's always great to see new folks join us here on the stream. This nameof function, let me talk about this. So this is a capability inside of C#6 that allows you to take whatever this object is and actually convert that into a string that is exactly the same contents as what you're programmatically accessing. So model.caption, this will output just the string caption. And this way we end up with a strongly typed, right, reference to that caption string. It isn't just a magic string that's sitting here in our code that isn't going to be affected by a code change, all right? So that's kind of what we talk about with magic strings. Why not use the tag helpers for ASP4 instead? That's not a bad idea, standby reloading. And good morning, Shmuley, good to see you. That's not a bad idea at all. And where that will actually take us, I love getting text messages from the family on my watch. Where that would take us is actually it would help simplify some of these things, because when we worked with Steve, we moved these things from ViewBag and from all these different names that we had. Now they're all hanging off of model. It would be nice to have a full name of function. Not sure. Maybe. So I think Mr. Magoo is on the right path here, and I like this, and this is actually going a little bit closer to some of our problem that we have, because we have functions down here in our JavaScript that need to point to those exact same model names. So let's take a look at this a little bit closer. I don't think I'm going to end up accepting Mr. Magoo's submission here, only because I think Standby Reloading has a great comment there about let's change these into using ASP4 statements. It does get us closer. I think you're right. And it really does get bring us a little bit closer to where we want to go, and then I want to get to the some of the JavaScript refactoring down here. This is, oh gosh, is that slam ID TFYN? I don't know. I think, and really where this ends up is it creates a goal configuration series of JavaScript files. And to some of the points in the chat room, these don't have access to the .NET code. So we're going to have to do something about that. All right. So let me start with using model names. I'm not going to use, I don't think I'm going to use this. But let's get this cleaned up a little bit. So I am going to go to goal configuration CSHTML. There we go. Now, this is a Razor template, right? In ASP.NET Core, we have templates that use the Razor templating engine. They end with this .cshtml extension. And what these are a mix of some C# with some HTML and a little bit of extra templating knowledge baked in, and we're able to use this to format code so that it's appropriate for output on the page. Now, here's the thing, looking at this, right, just based on some of the work that we did with Steve, we have captions, we have font names, we have goals, and then, you know, some other things to configure down here, but these aren't currently referencing the model, right? The model is the class that's going to be passed into this that we're going to format the content of and place, embed its content here in this HTML. You know what? I should start the application so at least for folks who haven't seen it, you'll be able to take a look. Shmuley, I don't know why it thinks those are links that you're posting there. There you go. That's a little bit better. So here you go. This is what the configuration page looks like for that bar up at the top. And it actually, you know, looks and feels not bad. I can change my bar here. I can make it look however I'd like. I can change the numbers. Right, and it updates appropriately, and then this is the hyperlink that I would use to embed this inside of OBS. Now, each one of these fields has a name that goes with it, and we're binding that model object that has this configuration back into this. So let's do a little bit of work here. I'm not, if you look at this Razor page, I'm not actually specifying the type of my model that's being passed into this. Now, we can specify what that type is by actually up at the top specify standby reloading. You're like 3 steps ahead of me, man. That's exactly where I'm going to end up going. Hold that thought. I am right there with you, buddy. So I can add a directive to my page. And let me come back to standby reloading's comment in just a little bit. I can add this to specify what type my model is by using the @model directive. And then I can specify it here. Now my model that's being passed into this is coming out of my my goal here, this method, and it's returning a follower goal configuration. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it right here, right? That, oops, where did it go? I was here. That follower goal configuration, see, it's still a model here, and that's what's being returned and passed into this view. So if I go back over to the CSHTML, I start running my mouth. I can tell I've had too much coffee already. But it tastes so good. So I've specified, here's what my model type is. So now I can come down and everywhere where I would have placed things like, here's the caption, I would be able to say model.caption and surround this with a name of, and that'll actually output the word caption here for the ID for this input class, right? And just by saving that there, if I reload, you'll actually see, where is it? Configure caption. There it is. ID caption, and notice it went capital. It went capital because the property name is capitalized. So we need to fix that. We need to make sure that our JavaScript that uses this references that same thing. So I'm going to come down here to my JavaScript, and let's see, where is it? I need to find, there it is, right there, caption, lowercase. So I'd have to do the same thing here, and I'm going to start to run into a little bit of this challenge where I'm passing, I want to have the same object names that my controls have, my widgets have up in the top half of the screen, available and accessible to my JavaScript here in my script section down at the bottom. And you're absolutely right, check digits. And gosh, I haven't seen you in a couple days. Great to see you again. Thanks so much for chiming in. It is absolutely a PITA, a pain in the keister. I know, I try and keep this a little bit on the down low with the swearing, but just in case folks are watching at an office, I've actually heard some folks say they like to keep the stream open kind of off to the side, and the whole team kind of listens in while we're over here talking. So I need to get the same name in both places. Now let me go back up here to my right. So there's my name of. So I could put the same at name of down here, and I'll get the same thing in both places. And that's not too bad, right? If I do at name of, right, model dot caption. Now, I'm actually kind of assuming something here. I should probably explain, because I quickly glossed over the Razor template. It is a mix of C# and HTML. You tell the Razor templating language, it's not a programming language, the Razor templating engine, that you're changing context to C# by just starting your C# with an @ sign. That's easy. So there's a couple directives like @section and @model that you can use. And you can put an @ sign and then parentheses, and whatever's inside those parentheses will be executed, and the output dropped right there. So the output of this name of will just be dropped in the middle of this HTML. Okay, so there you go. In 30 seconds, you now know how to do everything there is in Razor. And there's a couple directives and things you might be interested in, but you've got enough. So here's where I think we can simplify some things. So one of the points that some of the folks in the chat room made, and I forget who was saying it, there's now a tag helper called ASP4 that you can use. So if I remove this, I can actually change this and say ASP4. And this will give me the value and the ID of that object. So check this out. So ASP4, it says tag helper bound attributes, and it cannot be empty or contain. That's fine. I'm going to call this caption because it's looking at the properties on my model. So I'll specify caption there, and then I don't actually have to specify a value. This will kind of go away. So I'll erase that, save, and if I let this refresh, now let's take a look at the code. And there's caption, and it doesn't have a value because we didn't have a value to paste back to it from our controllers. And if I scroll down here to my JavaScript, there's my caption as one of my quick preview text boxes, and it's also referenced somewhere down further, right? So I'm moving in the right place, right? Let me find where else it is down here. There it is. So I would need to change this to @name of model.caption, and I can continue to reference and use that, and it should give me the wrong thing there. Test. There it goes. Now it works. So I need to have kind of a preview value for my caption here if it doesn't have anything. So here's what I'm going to do. Go back over here, and let's stop this. I'm going to go into the load default values over here. Helps if I do that. So this caption, if string is null or empty, this caption, go to this configuration caption. Otherwise, if this caption equals null, output the add a caption. There we go. So now I should have a default value that we can load. Yep, Chrome debugging, fantastic. And if I go configuration, it remembers the old test that I had in there. This is a test. There it goes. All right. So that works, and it remembers it, and it passes it around. Now, here's where I think we need to clean some things up, right? And where I'm going to need to do some refactoring. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to... Oh, shoot. I should have left that running, shouldn't I? All right. Let me rerun that, because I'm only going to be modifying Razor and JavaScript. Visual Studio will actually push changes for me as they're updated. So what I'm going to do, let's see, can I put this over here a little bit? Come on, give me my preview. Come on. Chrome's taking a long time. What's the deal? Waiting for localhost. There's no breakpoints over here, buddy. Why am I not getting the preview? Did I break something? Wow, okay. Chrome's taking a powder here. There we go. All right. So, I've got that very simple thing there. Chrome Dev Tools have anything? Nope, it was just locked up. And nobody likes it when their Chrome Dev Tools lock up. All right. So I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to put... Come here, Visual Studio. I'm going to put Visual Studio over here so we can see it update as it goes. Let me go over to the CSHTML. Now, I'm going to use that ASP4 in all of these places throughout this, so that I do get that model name just everywhere I need it to be. So I'm going to go... Font name might be the one... No, right? If I look over here in my configuration, it's just font name. All right. So let's go... Here I have font name and font names. Now this is kind of being loaded and managed special so that it can get all of my fonts in it. So I'll just do the... I don't want to do the name of... Oh no! Oh no. Alright. I'm going to change this to ASP4 equals font name. You're supposed to finish that. Okay, good. Alright, so here's my goal. I'll do the exact same thing here. I'll replace this with an ASP4 equals goal. Now, why isn't it auto-completing that? I think... Yeah. Here we go. Do it again. And this is... what is it? Count? Why is Visual Studio, like, getting grouchy with me? It's not letting me change things. Okay, now that feels bad. Because I've angered it, you know? And now Chrome's gone. Alright. We'll go to Edge. So let's do this. CMD... It's fritz.stream tools. Cool. So I'm continuing to refactor, so I'm going to leave it in this same branch. Why does Visual Studio throw that error all the time? I don't know. Chief Globe 8151, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here. You have angered the development gods and now smite thy browser. Yes, they have. So I am going to do this, and I can do a .NET run from here, and this will just be running. It'll be running and hosting the web server here in my command line in a second here, once it gets started. Cool, there it is running. Now I should, yeah, this Visual Studio is not happy with me. Try that one more time. Otherwise, I'm going to Visual Studio Code. And be done with you. Cool. Alright. So this is current value. And then I'm going to go down here. The empty background color. Let's see if that ASP4 will work here. Empty background color. Good. Alright. New version already, 2.1 preview. I'm not using the 2.1, the ASP.NET 2.1 preview yet. It's pretty easy to upgrade to that, but I haven't implemented that. Process Explorer for the win, yeah. I'm doing great, Chief Globe. Thanks for joining us over there on Mixer. Let's see here. So that's this one, empty font color. So let's see if we can ASP4 equals empty font color. So it's just picking those properties up off of the names of the properties on my model object. In this case, the follower goal configuration. My web server's listening on this location here. I'm just going to Control-C and paste that into my browser. And I will open. Are you kidding? Configuration. So we should start to get something popping up here. Maybe I angered this browser also. Let's see what it shows on the console. Nothing. It shows that it's working just fine, but I'm not getting values output for these. That's fine. I'm unable to get the property value of undefined or null reference. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start to see these disconnects because I've got capitalization differences between these. Let's keep going down here and just clean up some of these last ones here. So here's my input for the background color. Right, I already did empty background color. Here's the fill background color. Do you have one of the many sub-processes from Visual Studio misbehaving? No, it's not that. No. That's interesting. That's a Google Font API that's not working properly. Alright, so this box here, I need to make sure that that has the appropriate names for it. So it's input ID BG color 1. Now I think I need to leave those kind of where they are, because we dynamically build those and put them back together. So we'll come back to those ones. But now I've got my ASP4s for all of these properties up here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create an object in my JavaScript that looks just like my configuration model, and then I'll be able to reference it later to get out those property names to use everywhere. So I think I want to do that as a const, right? So const, configuration model, let's call it. Right, and then I'll do this as a JSON object, and I'll more or less create the exact same set of properties that I have on my follower goal configuration. This way, I'm doing a little bit of left-right, but I'm passing the exact same object out, and I can access it and see it in my code. So goal, caption, goal, current value. I'm going to just grab these exact same names and copy them in here, right? So I want to say caption equals, and then I can do at name of model.caption. Spelled right, Jeff. There we go. Right? Goal, and then I can do at name of model.goal. There it is. End paren. Right, and then I end up with this rich object that has the definition, right? So let me do this. I'm going to new horizontal. There we go. So I can kind of see the two side by side, right? So I've got the caption, I've got the goal, the Google font, right? So it is, where's the font? Font name is what it's called. Name of model dot font name. Okay. The test count, right, which is the current value at name of model dot current value. Now notice the name of these things on the left is hard coded, and I'm doing the name of for on the right, so that if this object changes in my C# code, it'll break here, but this can always be referenced by my JavaScript code. So I'm passing through, and I'll have the same object always that I can reference and investigate, right? What is it? Empty background color. Name of model empty background color. There it is. And I have an empty font color as well. At name of empty model rats. Empty font color. There we go. Okay. I think those are the only fields that I need to worry about for right now. So I'm going to save that. I'll close this. So now, my quick preview text boxes, I don't say model of, name of model.caption there. I'll say configuration model.caption. And I'll always have the right thing there. And this will be configuration model.goal. Current value is oops. Configuration model empty background color. Empty font color. And then the BG1 and BG blend 1 are okay. They can stay the way they are. Let's put some carriage returns in here. Make this a little bit easier to read. Cool. Now, I can reach down here, and wherever I reference... So there's the font name, so I don't want to say font name there like that. I want to say configuration model dot font name. And right here, I'm referencing the goal. Get rid of that. Configuration model dot goal. And I can get rid of this name of model.caption and say configuration model.caption. Get rid of the quotes there too. Cool. So here's the empty background color. Same deal. Configuration model. Come on. Spell it right. Feels bad, man. Dot. Which one was this one? Empty background color. The not aligned brackets bother me a bit. You're talking about between here. I've tried to get those aligned automatically, and they just keep going out of alignment. And it's not something that I'm going to lose sleep on. But I completely understand. Totally understand. Here's the current value. I'll do the same thing here. Configuration model. Current value. And it's just copying in that text label so we can reference it. Okay, so here's the background colors. It does that. So, and fill background color blend. I'm going to leave that the way it is. Here's where it works with the fonts. Good. I'm okay with all of these. Fonts panel, that's specific to this page. And I don't think we're referencing. Yeah. Oh, this link doesn't exist. That was something we were trying. All right, so now let's come back over here and refresh. So I've got unable to set the property on key up of undefined or null reference, and I'm kind of in a, yeah, I'm kind of stuck here. Get element by ID. Oops. There's our, right there. We need to wire that up to font name. That should look and feel. Yeah, I did. I missed a font name. That's what it was. All right, so I don't have any properties here, so it's kind of just giving me. Yeah, I know. Go away. So let's call this test. I know. I need to give you a font name. Shut up. Let's give this play, because I like the play font. And the test count will make 20. Now, the on key up isn't actually doing its thing there. Let's click preview and see if it. There it goes. My empty font color. Let's make that. No, let's make the full font. See, I need a full font color also, right? And you can't select that in here, but I believe follower goal configuration. I do have a fill font color, so I'm not allowing you to specify that yet, which that feels like a miss. I need to make sure that that field is in there. But otherwise, I think this is, it's working. Other than this, some of these defaults loading in there, they loaded properly now. I'm pretty okay with how that is. And that leads to where Standby Reloading was talking about. Now that I have this object inside my Razor that kind of specifies the mapping between my C# class and the model that I'm painting on the screen, here I can start to move some of these other things over to other JavaScript files. So I'm gonna save my changes that I have. Git commit am. Now using ASP4 and configuration model in JavaScript to pass C# object names. Cool. All right. So now let's just do a quick git push so that I have it stashed somewhere. Cool. Now the next piece, so I'm actually, first things first, I'm going to decline Mr. Magoo's submission here because I wanted to push things around. I think using the ASP4 statement was the correct thing to do. Right, and the, yeah, I think we're okay on these. I thought I just saw something. Okay. I get paranoid, you know? All right, so I'm going to close this down. can't see that behind me. Thanks for the contribution, but we simplified a bit and used ASP4 instead. All right. So I'm not merging that one, even though I do appreciate the contribution on that, Mr. Magoo. Fix some local storage issues. Let's just take a quick peek at what was changed there. The use of on-change events was causing local storage to be overwritten with default values. I added a flag to indicate that we are loading values from storage, which is used to short-circuit the preview method and prevent this problem. There was also a small problem of loading saved background colors, which I fixed on 387. All right, so let's take a look at this change. Smab says in the Mixer chat room, ideally you still need to fix the labels with ASP4. Let me take a look there and let's see what you're referring to. So you know what? You're right. You're right. Let me come back to this here. I'm not using I should be using ASP4 on my labels also here. So for the label tag helper, it'll actually generate the text appropriately for me there, and then I don't actually need to put the text here. Right? I can just do that. Do it like that. And it'll actually, right, it'll generate and give me that caption. That'll also allow me to internationalize so that if I put translations into this, you'll get it translated appropriately for whatever your locale might be. So let's load that up real quick here. All right. That's running. Let me come back to this, reload, and we shouldn't see a change because caption should just be replaced with caption, but it doesn't have the semicolon there. Can I just put the colon there and have it load it? It just gives me the colon. Well, that feels bad. So how do I get the colon to appear as part of that? Right, I mean, I could go just ghetto and put it at the end like that. Or I could just drop the idea of the colons altogether and be done with it. I kind of like that. Or wait a tick. All right, let me just double check over here. 1 second. I want to make sure that my, .NetWatcher is loaded here. Here's what I'm going to do. Stop this. .NET Watch Run. So the NetWatcher is a tool that will watch the C# code in my project, and if any of it changes, it'll automatically restart my project. Yes, Smap, that's exactly where I was going. Ha-ha! And standby reloading has the same thing. So let's do that. I'm going to come back over to my followers goal configuration, and where I had caption. That's better. I will change this to, I will add a display attribute to this. Now, this is an attribute that kind of decorates and enhances this property, and I can actually specify a series of properties to this that specifies how we interact with it, where the resources come from with this group name feature here. But I can actually, where is it? I can just specify the name. There it is, name. Right, so I can just say name equals caption like that. And it'll actually give me that display. You can see I saved this, and it's restarting my application over here. When that's done, and I'll remove my, I removed the colon already over here. And this is where it gets weird with using models versus view models, API models. Yes. Yes. Scott Addy says I could apply a CSS class that appends a colon to the end of the label. I've never done that before. How do you do that, Scott? What does that look like? I'm not going to use a display on this one. But I do need to do that on my font name down here. Because I want to specify that that is a... I want to say name equals Google font name. But you can do it, huh? CSS class append characters. How do we do that? How to add texture characters using CSS? Yes. Oh, look at that. After content. So let's try that. So if I go down here, I have some styles here. So I could say label after content, and then just do that. Huh? Look at that. Learned something new today. Thank you, Scott. Oh, look at that. And standby reloading had it also. Terrific. So now if I do that and reload here, it looks the same for caption. Google font looks kind of weird now because I still have the colon hard-coded in there. But let's remove that. Up here. So this one. So I can change this to that. And then I can get rid of this. Google font name. Fantastic. All right, so let's keep going down here. There's my goal. Let's change that to ASP4 goal. That's the same, so I don't need to go and refresh that. Test count. Yeah, ASP4. No, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Current value. But I want to leave it test count, I believe. If I pulled that display name of that property for elsewhere, it would be without the colon. Yeah, I think that's okay. Now notice, it didn't pull in my default font name there. It's actually pulling the wrong one. Click that again. Now it loads the right one. So I've got something disconnected there. Let me just finish these ASP4s here. You know what? No, let's just get rid of this. I don't need that. ASP4, empty font color. Get rid of that. Now the fill bar colors, I feel like that's something. I want to leave these as is because I don't. They should be replaced at some point, but I want to make sure. Yeah, see, look at that. I need to put a space in some of these. So I'm going to need to update my configuration where I have these concatenated names. I'm going to add a display there. And this is empty background color. Same thing for the font color. Empty font color. Display, name equals, fill font color. Now, I mean, I could, of course, make these, right, put some sort of logic here to add spaces where it sees changes in capitalization, but I do at some point want this to be localizable, so I will specify these quickly here, like that. That needs to have a name in front of it. There we go. space, 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 because I know that was triggering a couple of you out there. Don't deny it. I know it. There you go, it's restarting. And we will take a quick look and make sure that those name ofs appear properly. The labels, I'm sorry. And reload. Google font name, goal, empty background color, empty font color. Fill bar colors has an extra colon on it. That's easy. I can get rid of that. And I think we're good. I feel like we need an extra space between the label and the color here. You know? Right, it's right there. That is... where are we here? Empty background color and empty font color. These ones. Some cool to add might be auto-adjusting the font color to be either black or white depending on the background color chosen. That's not a bad idea. Tell you what, open an issue for that standby reloading so that we have a note for that. That's a great idea. Let me come back to that though. I might not get to it today, but let's take a look at that. You know what? I just want to add a space between these. How am I going to know that it's specifically this one and that the after one is that? Mobile Mancer, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us on Mixer. I look forward to hearing from you in the chat room. Let's see. I mean, I could cheat and do this. Right. I mean, that works. That does what I needed to do. There's Mobile Mancer. Hello. All right. So I'm going to stop this and let's just do a quick git commit. Now outputting labels from the model. Cool. Stash that away. All right. So the next thing that we started seeing is this local storage issue. Let's address this, and then we'll start refactoring out the JavaScript into separate files, and then we'll take a look at how we can use bundling and minification to bring those files all together as one that we reference on this page, but makes it a little bit easier to manage back and forth between them. So let's see. There's a function on load here that is loading from local storage. Load preview. If load is loading from local storage, return. Oh, well, that's easy. Am I going to be able to merge this? This is being requested to go into dev. Okay. I can't redirect where it's coming in from. Why does it say first-time contributor? He's not a first-time contributor. Mr. Magoo's committed several things. I could merge these in and then bring them down. Hello from cold and snowy Sweden. Looking forward to the architecture workshop, so I had to stop lurking and follow. Well, thank you, Mobile Mancer. I'm trying to figure out if and when I'm going to Stockholm. I have a request out there to speak at DevSum. I need to figure out if I'm going to do that one. And there might be something in the fall where I end up visiting Stockholm. I got to figure that out. We'll see. Nothing firm yet. I'm not sure if I want to merge this into my dev branch and then pull it down and merge it, and then possibly end up with a conflict coming down. So I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this by hand because it's really just 2 or 3 lines of things here, right? Excuse me, Edge. Why aren't you scrolling? All right, let's do this. I'm gonna copy this in, and I'll refer to it as a merge by hand, even though our friend SQL Mr. Magoo won't get credit for the contribution. So that was the var is loading, and he puts that right up here. Visual Studio is grouchy at me again. Look at this. I can't delete any code. No. You keep doing that, Visual Studio, and I'm going to go over and start using code. That'll learn you. All right, so now if we're in the onload, he sets is loading from storage to true. And then at the very end, sets it to false. Right about... Not there. Not there. Not there either. Right here. Now at some point it's saying, yeah, here it is, in load preview, if is loading from storage returned, right at the beginning of that. So I'll just paste that right there. And then the final change is down here, BG blend. Way down. Where is it? There we go. No. Wait. It's on the const add button. BG blend field, this should be 1, is what it looks like. Cool. So that should clean up. Yeah, that should clean up that little bit. All right, so let me rerun. .NetWatch run. Come over, beers on me if I do temps. I don't know. We'll see. I've got to work that one out with the family. Make sure that they're okay with me departing for the week for that. Here we go. So that's running. I will come over to this. Let's reload. Make sure that there's no errors popping up here in the console, except for maybe those Google messages. So those look correct. That looks like it's loading properly. But the preview didn't load. There, that loaded. So let me go back to the home page, and then if I click configuration, there it goes. It populated the values. And then I wanted to load the preview right at the end, you know? So I think we need to add a call to load preview after the onload finishes. Right, so there's is loading from local storage. So it's done populating everything. Oh, wait. I think this is supposed to be inside. Like right there. I think that's what I did wrong. Did line 193? Yeah, that's what I think it is. Hey, there's Mr. Magoo. Good morning. There we go. Now, beautiful. I'll go back to the home page, and I'll click back into configuration, and it should remember and pull back my settings, and then load the preview. There it is. Terrific. That's a good modification, but I needed to merge it by hand because I made a bunch of changes here. So I am going to similarly, thanks for the contribution. We made some other changes and merged this by hand. Cool. Thank you very much. That's a good change there. Added I want to make sure I reference you. Updates for preview in, and this was 57. Fantastic. Git push. And it should see that reference here. There it is. Fantastic. All right. 2 pull requests down. They be chill. I'll mail a beer so they won't be envious. Here's the thing. Some folks know this, but I actually have what's called celiac disease. So I can't have gluten. I'm one of those folks, one of the gluten-free folks. So normal beer I can't have. So I end up drinking a lot of hard cider instead, because gluten-free beer made with sorghum, if you've ever tried beer made with sorghum, it's not the same. Gluten-free IPA. Woohoo! There you go. That makes me happy to hear. So now let's take a look at the refactor of the goal config. Now our friend, is it Slammy? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but there's a bunch of conflicts here. This is going to take a little bit of work to merge in these changes. And this is something that I don't want to do by hand. But I feel like, and actually there's a couple of things here that kind of got moved around a little bit. But there's 8 files hanging out here. Ooh. So we added to git ignore goal configuration min. So what we're going to end up with here is a configuration, a single minified JavaScript that has all of the script that we have in here. Because if you look at this page at this point, I mean, look at this. This template is now almost 500 pages, and the JavaScript alone, right? Look at this. Okay, it's not going to. It's going to be angry with me. Oops, too far. Right? Where is it? It should tell me how many lines I've highlighted. It's not going to tell me how many lines I have highlighted. We went from line 89. I mean, we've got almost, what, 300 lines? Ugh. Is it Danish? It might be. That looks Danish. That looks very Danish. Cool. Thank you, Soren, for this. Am I pronouncing that right? Soren? How do I pronounce that? So we have a new goal configuration CS that has a lot of the content here. But then there's a second one here for the Google Fonts. Haha! Alright, that does all the management of the Google Fonts stuff. Ooh, I've scrolled too far. So that was taking a long time to load. And that's pretty cool that that's all in one place. Okay. And then there's the stuff to handle the preview. Alright. And then look at this. I love this. Goal configuration is just these 3 lines now at the bottom. And all that other stuff goes away. And then we had an entry in bundle config. And that's really where I want to answer some of the question here. So let's do this. And this is going into my dev branch. Let me create, okay, so let me create a pull request for my refactoring into my dev branch, and then I can pull this in and do that merge in my dev branch. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That sounds good, right? Everybody on board with that? Let me know. All right, so any other issues here? Adjust the font. Cool. There we go. So I'm going to create a new pull request, and I'm going to merge into dev. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of junk there, all right? The refactoring that we did. There we go. Can't automatically merge. Okay, that's going to feel bad. So here's the changes we made with Steve the other day in Tuesday's live coding session. So move the gradient to a helper method, refactor to eliminate follower goal, now using model binding, moved logic, and then here's the things we did here today. And look at all these files we changed. Lots of refactoring. So with Steve, and we'll just create that pull request, and then I'm gonna have to fight this series of conflicts. So I've got a conflict in my model class, and then this is going to be the monster dealing with the goal configuration CSHTML. Look at that, Brendan's using his brand new .NET bot. So there's now, for folks who are on Twitch, before I start this merge is going to take a little bit. For folks that are on Twitch, if you subscribe, if you have a Twitch Prime subscription, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can take your Amazon Prime subscription, hook it up to your Twitch account, and it'll remove all the advertisements that you see on Twitch. So that's cool if you don't like seeing the preload advertisements that Twitch puts in front of the stream here. But then if you, as a Twitch Prime subscriber, you can subscribe to a broadcaster, folks like me, and when you subscribe, you'll get a little emote icon, and you'll I forget what else you get. That's what I have on mine here. But if you subscribe with that free account that you've already got because you have your Amazon Prime, you'll get the .NET bot emote that you can use on any Twitch channel when you're in the chat room. Brendan's showing off his right there. But I'm not looking for, you don't need to subscribe to participate in the channel here. I don't have any exceptional features other than the little sticker that you'll get. But as a thank you for showing your support for the stream, I'll take your subscription, I'll match it, and then my employer will match the combined. So your subscription will actually get quadrupled. And then I'm going to take the whole thing and make a donation to Girl Develop It. That's a nonprofit organization that is looking to help teach women and underserved minorities, get them into software, teach them how to write code. I think it's a great organization. I want to support them. I'm almost at my first payout from Twitch. When that happens, I'll make an announcement and we'll go through and we'll show that exactly I'm making that donation. Thank you, Standby Reloading, showing support there with the emote. Is that the new MS mascot? No, Meat Popsicle, that isn't. That's actually the .NET bot. Oh my gosh. This is the mascot for the .NET Foundation. Right, if we look for .NET bot, no. On GitHub, no. Oh, thank you, Mr. Magoo. I appreciate the follow. This is from .NET Foundation. I spelled .NET Foundation wrong, but that's okay. But there's the .NET bot right there. You can get stickers with him on there. Folks that are coming out to MVP Summit next week, you'll see the .NET bot. We've got a cutout of the .NET bot that we like to have hang out. Let me see. There he is, the .NET bot logo. But you can actually get that image, and that image is available for anybody to use with their .NET supported. Their .NET projects and whatnot. No, that's not it. Oh my gosh, Meat Popsicle! Thank you for the subscriptions. I really appreciate that. And like I said, you know, I'm not looking to make money off of this. I'm trying to raise money for folks, and it helps you. You get to remove the advertisements, and you get a little emote there. And it works on Twitch, and you can see it actually posts through, and it appears in our chat room here. I don't see the .NET bot image. It's in a GitHub repository. Be nice now. I don't see it, but there's all kinds of images out there you can grab, and you can use that, and that's freely available for folks to use. So, all right. Let's start merging. I didn't know they finally made the C# Hero shirts. Yes, there's shirts available out there you can check out. You can order if you'd like those. There's even F# Hero shirts out there, and I want to spend some time learning F# at some point here on stream. So, well, I'm thrilled to see folks using the .NET body mode. Thank you. I really appreciate that. When you do put that there in the chat, it reminds me that, you know, I'm trying to do things to help other people, not just those of us here in the stream. So that's very cool. I really appreciate you guys showing your support, and especially if you've already got an Amazon Prime subscription. So it's like free money from Amazon and Microsoft. So let's start merging. This is going to be doing this. So merging in the refactoring from Steve. This is going to be interesting to do, and then we're going to do that merge to push our JavaScript out into another file. So let's take a look here. I'm using the resolve conflicts tools here in GitHub. They're pretty good. The only challenge that I have with them is I can't see if they're valid.net if it's valid.net code when I commit it. So I'm going to remove the marker here, remove that one. I'm okay with the dev being there. Why do I have I guess that's a byte order mark there. Let's get rid of that. All right. Any other thing? Oh, okay. So this is because we did. This is because we removed all those spaces, right? So I'm actually going to yank this entire lower bit here because I think we're good. Yeah, that one's good. All right. So here's the big one. Follower goal configuration. I've got 4 conflicts to take a look at. So let's take a look at the first one. Here it is. So I have ASP label 4, current value, and then label 4. So this is where we changed it to ASP4. I'm okay with the ASP4s, but I can get rid of the other ones. Same thing here with, I'm okay with how I did that, and I'll get rid of the old one. Let's see, where's my next one? So here's where I specify quick preview text boxes as references to configuration model. Oh, thanks, Scott. The .NET bot image is github.com .NET swag. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to keep this and get rid of that. Yeah. Now, do I have any more down here? Oh, here we go. So empty background color, empty font color, and then escape the font name. So this is using my escaped model here. So I do want to keep my refactored one, and I can get rid of the other one. Cool. Any more? No? I think I'm good. This feels weird having the double scroll bars here. I think that's everything. Just taking a quick look to make sure I don't have any. Yep, I think that's resolved. Commit the merge. Yeah, come on. Haha, there we go. All right. Squash and merge. That's fine. Fantastic. I'm going to delete my feature refactoring branch because we've done a ton in there, and I'm good with that. All right. Next step. I'm going to bring that local. So I'm going to git checkout dev. I'm going to do a git branch dash capital D to delete my feature refactoring. Spelled it wrong? I will tab complete. Helps if I come anywhere close to spelling it right. All right, so now I'll git pull and I'll get all of those updates. Fantastic. All right. Of course Visual Studio thinks things are a little wonky here. Let's run a quick build, make sure it works, before I go and try and break it any further, you know what I mean? Build failed. Of course the build failed. With no description. Try that again. Build succeeded. Ah! Alright. Let's do a .NET run. Just make sure that I can get to that page, get to my pages here. Right, here's where, once again, I don't have good unit tests, and I need to fix that. Right, I mean, I do have some unit tests in here, and let me run those, make sure those work. So that's cool. I've got the web server started, tests all passed, even though they're, by my own admission, lame. We'll fix that in a future stream here. And everything loaded properly. Terrific. All right, so I'm good with that. I've got this merged properly. I think that's the first time I've done a GitHub merge on stream, and it hasn't, like, completely blown up in my face. Am I right? Oh my gosh. I'm getting better at this. Here's the big one. All right. So, Soren, am I pronouncing it right? Has a bunch of these that are going to refactor out into separate JavaScript files. And I have one conflicting file, and it's that goal configuration CSHTML. I'm going to do this on the command line because I want to make sure I want to make sure that this merges properly, because there's a lot here. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard, come back over, goal configuration. What did I do? Oh, is this because I did the tabs? It's because I did the tabs. I don't care. Go away. All right. Yes, I know that. There was also, while I'm here, in Startup Services, I saw this the other day, and I keep wanting to remove it. I have my configure SignalR tag helper. Even though I'm not using this anymore, I have it duplicated, and I don't like that. Git commit am removed duplicate tag helper registration. Cool. All right. Here we go. So this is going to bring in Soren's changes, and then it's going to create a branch to do this merge, and here's the conflict. Here's where we're going to have to work through this. And I'm actually going to open that in code. Thank you, Brendan. I see that mocking me there. I'm going to open this in code because I think Visual Studio Code does a much better job of showing us the GitHub conflict. So I'm going to close these other... that's fine. It's looking for a file that doesn't exist anymore. Here it is. You can see, right, if we look at the project, you can see where there's changes, and the conflict is here in purple, and it's in this folder, it's in this folder, and there it is right there. Not now. All right, go away, File Explorer. Oh goody, I've got updates for Visual Studio Code. All right, so check this out. Look, you can see here, and I love this in the scroll bar in Visual Studio Code. I can see exactly where the conflict is, right? If I scroll down, here's the current change. Here's what's currently in it. And there's what's left of this. So I'm going to have to kind of merge and massage this a little bit to get it to lay out properly. Because I want a little bit of both, actually. Now, let's hide the other Visual Studio. Now, I need to look at what's in those JavaScript files, so I kind of know what's going on over there. So load preview, there's my log function. So my log function comes along. I'm okay like that. Seems like the VS conflict merge is better. Really? I'll come over to this one. I just get the lines here. Right? I don't actually get, right, a good view of this. I like having the highlights. I think the VS Code conflict merge is a little bit better for me. Anyways, so my log function came over. I'm okay with that. I don't need to worry about that coming. Supported fonts is probably down here in Google Fonts. Is it? Yep. So I don't need to worry about that line either. So these are good. This one, I absolutely do need to keep. Visual Studio has a great merge view. Let me come back to that. So here's the script. There's the reference for my Google Fonts key. I'm going to paste that in. Tab these over, so I now have that. Where's the merge view? Where is it? Team Explorer? Is that where we're hiding? No. So having it side by side like that. That's fine. Yeah, look, it's got the ASP4s that I'm going to have to resolve. But this is the bit down here, right? It's not bad that it's side by side like that. It's interesting, it's different content. I can pick from left and right, but I actually need to do a little bit more than just pick from left and right here. Right, I can actually... Right, and I could... Right, and I could look at the two of these side by side like that. That's not too bad. The quick preview text boxes. Now, this is actually over in the preview page now. So I'm going to grab this. And see, I need to kind of bounce back and forth between those JavaScript files also. So this is probably in preview. Yep, there's quick preview text boxes. That changed. So I'm just going to paste that in and overlay it. Jazzy Noop, thank you. Thank you for the host. I really appreciate... I appreciate anybody hosting me. You know, thank you. Over on... Oh, that's on Mixer. Terrific. All right, so I have that quick preview updated, right? And that was important that that update happened. And then... all right. Close that for right now. So here's where, right, the other ones where it has the font name and some of those things change. So let me scroll down to load preview, because that's the function we're looking at here. See, and I'm kind of merging from one file into another file, which is weird. All right, so this one, const font name, I'm going to grab that and replace that line over here. Good. All right, so the URL template changes significantly. Yeah, let's just copy. It's only those lines. So I will replace those lines. So I get my references to my configuration object. That's good. So save values should be here somewhere. It's okay. It's not in this file. So let's see. Is it in this one? Save values. All right. So now let's take a look at this one, because we made changes in save values to allow it to save better. Local storage clear, const, blah 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 blah. No, that looks fine. There was the one change that we made for the blend. This one, renumber colors. That looks right. Cool. All right. Whew. Oh, your Jazzy Noob is watching on the Xbox. That's pretty cool. I'm on TV. All right. Okay, so goal configuration, I think we're in a better place with that. There were other places in here that it referenced the field names besides just the URL template, wasn't it? No, maybe we're right. Maybe we're good. The last things... Oh, that's good. All right. So I want to now discard the current change, and I want to accept the incoming. And I think if I did this right, I've got everything. Let's do... so we're going to add views, followers, goal configuration. Updated with content from other merges. From other PRs. Cool. Okay. Let's actually test it. Not Git. .NET Run. All right, let's see what we get. Because it should build properly. And then we should see... we should be able to see our page. And then we'll take a look at how bundling and minification is being used here. I'll go over to here. Should load properly. No errors. That's always a good start. Okay, my load preview didn't load properly. So I might have something just a little bit off there. Let's take a look. So I'm going to close Visual Studio Code. He's going to run his install now, isn't it? Yes, load that. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look. So now things are now happening in client app, right? So I have goal configuration. My goal configuration JS here. I feel like I want to have some more vertical tab groups here. And the preview. All right. Okay. So we're going to load preview. We're going to init preview. Quick preview button. Const quick preview text boxes. Okay. That's probably running all right. So, you know what? Our preview loading switches got dropped here. Let's take a look back at the code. I want to be in the dev branch. Let's kind of not revert, but let's take a look at what that looked like, because I missed. There's that check that we were doing here. On load, is loading from storage equals true, right? That var is loading from storage got dropped somewhere. So I'm going to, is loading from storage was just before our, there we go. And then in the middle of onload, it was set to true at the beginning of onload. And then at the end of onload, we set it to back to false. And then in load preview, we said is loadings from storage return. So let's make sure that's in place. Preview over here. So right at the top of this one. Okay. Let's see. Space Shot is now hosting. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Now I made changes to my JavaScript, so I now need to actually reminify. So if I .NET run, it should minify as part of the startup, right? So let's come over to this, reload. Now, let's take a look at the code. Source goal configuration min.js, but I don't think it actually has my content in there for this. So here's what I want to do. I really appreciate the simplicity of that there. I'm going to wrap it with an environment tag helper. The environment lets us say, if we're in these environment names, behave this way. So I'm going to say environment exclude equals development. So what this will do is, when we are in development mode, oops, I want to make sure I grab. No, it's in client. It's in client app, so it actually does need to be compiled and built, with it sitting over there like that. I have no way to reference the individual files as I'm building. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move goal configuration over here under JS. It's not going to take a long time. Just do it. Thank you. And I'll leave client app out there for right now. But now I can reference JS goal configuration. And those are each of the individual pieces to this, right? So I can say goal configuration and bring in that file. This way, when I'm building and debugging, I don't have to reminify all of my code every time. And preview. So now it'll include each of those 3 files by hand. By hand? They'll be included. They'll be there. So now we can see. Set supported fonts is not defined. You're right, I will have to update my bundle config, which leads me back to the question that kind of started our stream today. We will update that. I think I might have these in the wrong order, because this is looking for set supported fonts, which is in Google Fonts. So I think I need to actually move that down. Unable to get the value null of undefined or null reference. Ooh, we're getting closer. So preview.js is looking at... Where's it getting font name? It shouldn't be font name. It should be configuration model font name. Oh, there it is. Const font name equals that value. Hang on. Get element by ID. Aha! I didn't bring that one over. In preview.js. Rats. Configuration model dot current value. Another console error. Unable to set property on key up of undefined. This is... Ooh, we're close. Ooh, we're close. There's another one I missed on line 159 of goal configuration JS. There it is. It's over here. Gosh. All right. So we'll just change this. Configuration model dot font name. No console errors? Where's my preview? Okay. It loaded the preview. It loaded it poorly, but it loaded it. Goal is 220. Fill bar colors. I bet you I have that load preview in the wrong place again. Let's go back over. If is loading from storage, return. Okay, I'm good with that. And when we're loading, is loading from storage true? Okay, so I set it to false down there, but I think you know what? It's not calling load preview, right? I mean, load preview's, oh no, there, okay. And then init preview. What's init preview? Okay. I think these two I think need to move down below my onload. Like that. Oh no, they were below my onload. We're hoisting. So where am I getting? It's not using my font name, and it's not using... There you go. Width, background colors. Right, it's passing these weird background colors. And that font name is not the font name that it's actually showing. You know? So, I mean, we moved a ton of code here. This is a test. That worked, and it actually loaded up everything else. My fill bar colors, let's change this to 1. And let's make the other end green. See, and the current value didn't even go through either. So current value isn't being copied over. Let's check that. Yeah, and current equals, you know what? I think that's supposed to be end current value. You are setting configuration model in a separate script. Could that be a problem? I don't think so. It's actually seeing that. There we go. I was passing the wrong number. But now my background color is the wrong, right? I mean, it's got... Where'd this crazy red come from? I think... Empty background color, okay. BG blend equals 1. BG colors equals... that's not going to work. The background colors... Right, even if I do make this red over here and add and make this green over here, it's not wiring that up. So, let's see. I think it's something that I'm grabbing and not formatting quite right over here. Because, right, if I take a look at BG colors %23 0000 Charlie, that's the blue. 00 Charlie 03, that's green, and it's got a %23 in the middle of it. I think that extra space there might be causing it. In some places where you're doing escape, yes. I think I need to do a I'm not missing it. It's not the empty background color, it's the BG color. So let's take a look at that. Escape spans, get element by tag name. So it's jamming it together right here. And it's getting an extra space there. It's like I want to trim that space. Oh, crumbs. What's the Java? Isn't there a JavaScript trim? Removes white space from both sides of a string. Okay. I thought I could do a trim. We'll do that. So at the end of this, I should be able to just jam that in there. Right, because I'm thinking that %23 is... Nope, still there. Why am I getting that? Right, because if I take this... Why didn't I actually click that? That would have made too much sense, wouldn't it? If I get rid of the %23 here, no, that didn't fix it. Empty background. The empty background color worked. Ooh. And you know what? It doesn't have the current value. Well, now that worked. But wait a sec. It is a hash. Okay. So we are okay with the %23s. All right. So okay, I mean, it is loading the preview. It's got the wrong colors. It's not, when it generates the preview down here, it's not putting the current value on it. And current value. Oh, you know what? When the URL template, it doesn't have it on there. Okay. Okay, I get that. But where's that red coming from? Even though I've got it specifying blue here, and I'm specifying, right, RGB, that should be the blue. Sure, we'll do a Control F5, force the reload. No. No. And in fact, it's actually got my old colors. See, this feels weird. Something's not quite right. Alright. Right, because that... Let me turn on the log. I turned on the log. I did. It's over here. There we go. Followers goal. Ooh. 100 width colors. Background colors. That is not red. Font name equals play undefined. Look at that. Is that messing it up right there? Font name equals play, and then it's this bit right here. Configuration model current value. Did I not rename current value up here properly? No, it's right there. Input name equals current value. ID equals current value. So, oh, look at value equals empty string. But it's clearly in there. What? Hang on. Document. Oh, you can't see it behind me here. Get element by ID. Now you really can't see it. There we go. All right, configuration model dot. Hang on. I see it. I see it. Ha 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 ha. This is out here. That should be on the page. Right? Okay. Configuration model dot current value. Okay. 20. Didn't I change the model? I didn't change the model in the controller. I changed it. Well, oh, in the controller, that is the followers controller. That's not. over here. It's a follower goal configuration, so that's still the right thing there. Follower goal configuration. I have the right model, and it clearly sees the appropriate value there. So, not that one. Wait a sec. You're referring to in the goal CSHTML. No, this one didn't change. Model, 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 model. No, I think we're good here. Model.gradient is what's being output inside of this. So let's take a look there. Linear gradient to right, red, red, yellow, 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 green, green. Well, it's getting that value from somewhere wrong. All right. So followers controller. Okay, so the goal receives a follower goal configuration model. Load the default values. Current value equals. You know what? The default values are being loaded from configuration. Let's take a look at this. I think. Oh, rats. There we go. I think these are coming in backwards. Because the red, yellow, green is what I have saved as my default. So what I think is happening is that the background color that's coming in here, well, I don't think it's being set. Yeah, it's not being... Fill background color blend is that array of colors. I'm actually gonna start this in debug mode and try to attach and see where we're... What files do we have changed here? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It's right here that I want to see what's going on. Because I think what's going on, it's not a log. I think what's happening is I'm passing my colors in and they're not being received, or they're being overwritten by what's in the application configuration. I think we're almost there. So it didn't load a font name because I didn't have one selected and it didn't have a default. Well, that's loading a ton faster. Current value, I'll set this to 40. And now look, it's trying to load this. I'm going to let that go for right now just because I want to see it populate. Yeah, look, there's my red, yellow, green, even though the colors that it passed in were blue. So let's click preview again and let's see what's going on there. So let's take a look at the model. You, come here. So I'm going to pin my model so I can just watch it right here. So if you take a look at what's here, the background blend array that was passed in is just, well, first off, it's just 0. It's supposed to be a 1, so that didn't get loaded properly. This one, the BG color array, that didn't get loaded with anything. That's wrong. So BG blend array Well, those are arrays. Hang on. Fill background color and fill background color. Those two aren't being loaded properly. I don't have those lined up. So let's go back and fix that. So that was fill background color and fill background color blend. These two properties are not in here properly. For get BG colors, this should be, there it is. Right. That value. Which, is that on? I don't have it on this. Let's add it. Fill background color, name of model. Yep. And then we also need, what is it? Fill background blend. Name of model. Fill background color blend. All right, fine. Cool. So now this should be configuration model dot fill background color. That gets the colors. And then this one should be model dot fill. No, not model. Where'd it get model? Oh, now I've done it. Configuration model dot fill background color blend. All right. Now let's try it. I could name of on both sides of that. I don't want to because I want the value hard-coded for the JavaScript so the JavaScript doesn't break when the name changes. Those all look like they load properly. Here's my configuration. Let's see. Oh, come on, open. Okay, Visual Studio, you make me sad. That is really sad, Visual Studio. Come on now. Work with me here. Add to the watch. There we go. So now it's over here, behind my head. Ugh. But that is loading properly. There, you can see it. Charlie, 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 Fox, Fox, Fox. Fill background color that was passed in, well, is in my configuration, is red, yellow, green. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Let me look at my local so I can see the model. There we go. So now I see my blue is being passed in. So that should load and properly show me blue. Terrific. Hey, 3V, good to see you. All right, so this all works properly now and is refactored into several smaller JavaScript files that are a little bit clearer on exactly what they're doing. And I want to now take a peek at that one little piece that that we're referencing now. In my goal configuration, I added this bit right here, environments, and then two different sets of files. So I have everything to manage my Google Fonts was refactored into this JavaScript file. Everything to manage the preview is in this file. And then I've got any JavaScript that kind of assembles together the various pieces of the configuration sitting in this JavaScript file. But when I load my application for development, I do want to be able to see and work with those individually. But when I actually push this out and I publish it, I only want one JavaScript file. So what you can do is you can minify, right? That means we're going to remove all the extra spaces. We're going to take everywhere where there's long field names or long property names, and we're going to make them one character long. Make it ugly, really ugly. You might hear it referred to as uglified. We're going to smash that down so that it's as small as possible because JavaScript is a dynamic language, so we can replace those things. And we're going to bundle. We're going to take these 3 files. We're actually going to make them one file and then apply that minification to it so we get something really small. And that's what bundling and minification is. Now, there's several ways to do that. You can use tools like Webpack that are out there. Webpack is really tricky to understand. There's all kinds of amazing configuration options for it, but it can be tricky to follow exactly the order in which things happen. And there's folks that run things through Grunt or Gulp, or I think Breakfast is another one of these. They're task runners that are built in JavaScript. They run using Node.js tools, and they do a good job of kind of pushing that all together. So that's not bad. But what we've done for ASP.NET developers to make it a little bit easy, because folks are used to seeing an XML file from previous versions of ASP.NET that says, take these couple files, jam them all together, and output this one. We wrote a bundler that runs inside of ASP.NET. And you specify this JSON file that very easily shows, here's the file name that I want to generate, and here's the file names that you put into it. And we'll figure out that it's CSS that you're outputting, or it's JavaScript that you're outputting, and use the appropriate logic to build those. So what's already been built for us in the pull request as part of this is, we want to generate this minified goal configuration file, and we're going to take in these individual JavaScript files, and that's what we're going to combine and make into this one file. Now the comment from World Sender is that World's Ender? I think that's World's Ender. Nice to see you there in the Twitch chat room. And is that Graven Elvich? Good to see you in the Twitch chat room. You're right. This does only run right now on one web server, so we don't need to minify like this. It's a good practice, and I think it helps answer the question that we have out there. And this is a more of a learning project, right? It's some of the publishing things that we want to do here, not a problem to also, be a little bit more aggressive around it when we get to publishing it for production. Minify enabled false. Where do you see that? This is okay. So they're not actually minifying this in the current definition for this file. Let's take a look at that. My solution, I kind of moved around from client app into JS goal configuration. So I'm just going to change these. And actually, I can do an Alt select there and replace both of them at once. So now I have these 3 files, and whenever my minifier runs, it'll actually take these 3, combine them together, and put them into goal configuration. So I should be able to right-click on this, and there was a run minifier here, and I don't see it. Let me see. Is it on the project now? To bundle and minify. I'm not sure pack is what I wanted. There's nothing here. That's not good. It should be... Oh, I forgot the dub root. Oops. Put that there, here, and there. Save that. And I'll right-click, and let's tell it to pack again. Still didn't update my file. Dub root, JS, goal configuration. And I need to make sure these are in the right order. Oh, I don't have the extension enabled. I think you're right. Is that the right order? Preview, Google Fonts, let me move this one up one. The bundler and minification extension. All right, let me go make sure I have that. Wrong one. Yeah, I know, I canceled it. Extensions and updates. Bundler and... No. There it is, bundler and minifier. Let me let this restart. It does run on build. That is part of that. Part of the, it adds it doesn't add, there's a property that is in the ASP.NET Core build process that'll find that and it'll actually do the build for you. I like to actually run the extension and kind of force it to run. It's a little bit easier for folks to understand when they can see it. That, oh yeah, I pushed that button and it ran. But you're right, you don't actually need the bundler and minifier extension. Okay. Right, and I thought... Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you sharing that link. Let me, if I right-click... Bundler and minifier, there it is. Update bundles. And all that'll do is actually go through and build all these things, and it should place it... There it is. So there's my concatenated together file. And you're right, somebody was saying, hey, enable minify is set to false. So let's set that to true. And it minifies. It gets rid of all the extra spaces in there. So that's pretty good. And it'll use that when when I bring in when I publish and bring in new versions of things. As I update these JavaScript files and rebuild my application, it'll rebuild that minified, that goal configuration min. But because this is built on the fly, as I build my application, I don't need to include it. I don't need to check it into my source control. All right, so let's add root JS goal configuration. Fantastic. I'm going to add client app, and now let me commit. You can also use a script tag helper to append a version number. Yes. Let me show that real quick. There is, so you do script source equals, you can actually say ASP dash append version, and yeah, right? Is that, oh, it is a Boolean. All right, so I want to say true, and now whenever I build and use this version, it'll actually give me a full, a version number on here, a cache buster token, right? So that it'll force people to download a new version of that file. Good catch, thank you. I'm glad I got a chance to show that off. And yes, YouTube closed captions. It's not YouTube closed captions. Those are closed captions being generated by OBS using the Windows text-to-speech that are local on my machine here. It's not using any of the machine learning that some of the other more advanced speech-to-text features use. All right. Completed refactoring. Cool. So now I can finish that merge, right? That loads properly, doesn't it? It's not going to load anything. All right, so I'm going to go back one. I'm going to go to that pull request, and I'm going to finish this merge. So I'll copy out these instructions. It'll check out my dev branch, merge in the changes that I made, and then push it. So I'll do that. And that should close. It should indicate that this was merged, right? There we go. Very cool and helpful of you to submit these changes. Big thanks for the contribution. There we go. All right, and we have one more. Joe Bunn helped us out with some stuff to get the bot working for Mixer. I will come back to that. I will come back to that another time. because I am a little bit over here and I don't want to be late for my 12:30 meeting. Should closed caption be one of the stream tools, right? That's something else happening there, Janescu. That's actually embedded inside of, that's an add-on to OBS, and some friends are working on adding a provider that uses Bing speech to text, which is significantly better than the one that gets deployed with Windows. We'll see how that goes. They're working on that. They're trying to collaborate with the OBS project team to open that up and make it a little bit easier to use. So I answered the question here about bundling and minification. Thank you for the question. I show this on the March 1st stream. There we go. So we did some bundling and minification work. We merged in a whole bunch of great JavaScript changes and enhancements that refactored and made our goal configuration page, which is really nice and easy to use to build that follower configuration bar. Make it really easy to use. And we've juggled a little bit of our C# code here to make it easier when we want to add global resources later, to make it easier for folks to localize some of those labels at a different, at a different point. Just a quick review here, what's in the chat room. They're very inaccurate, which blows my mind because Google Assistant is great at reading voices. This isn't Google Assistant. This is what comes with Windows, which is only trained in what's living on this machine. It's not using the machine learning facilities that Google uses or Bing uses. So that's why we're trying to bring in a more advanced speech-to-text capability. There is actually we were looking at, I believe it's Web Captioner out there, that you can use this. It only works on Chrome because it uses the Google speech-to-text that is in Chrome, and it'll actually embed text here on the screen for you, and you can use that. I don't have Chrome running. Let me run Chrome real quick so you can see what this looks like. I think this is actually pretty good, because if I start talking, because I'm remoted into this. Hang on. I'll start another one. Chrome. Come on. Where'd it go? Right, so here's this. Come on. Thank you. It doesn't want to move screens. There it goes. Get started. Let's move that over there. And now you can see the captions from this are actually really, really good. And it knows things like C#. And it doesn't mess those up. It knows what Docker is. See, it still says doctor instead of Docker. Maybe I need to pronounce words a little bit better. So that's pretty cool. That's webcaptioner.com. So we're trying to add a better captioner into OBS so that folks can use that everywhere, using some of those online cloud-enabled capabilities. Cool. All right. That's all the time I have for today. I will archive off today's stream. It'll be over on YouTube a little bit later today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here in the chat room. Thank you to my new subscribers, Meat Popsicle and Mr. Magoo. I really appreciate you subscribing there on Twitch. And as always, subscriptions, when the payout comes from Twitch, I will match. My employer will match, and we'll donate that to Girl Develop It, a nonprofit organization that helps teach women and underserved minorities how to write code. Cool. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I will not be streaming on Saturday, but I'll see you on Tuesday from Channel 9 at Microsoft in Seattle. I'll see you then. Take care.